Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another podcast. I'm your co-host, Tony Grant, and welcome to the second episode of the Footprint Podcast. I got my co-hosts with me, my brothers, Reverend Ferguson, Derek Stevenson, and our special guest, Mr. Russell Rouse. Say what's up to the people, big dog!
I'm not here. I'm not here.
It's about to go down.
I'm not here.
It's funny because Rev call us Chuck and Shaq. And
Definitely Shaq.
Oh,
Definitely Shaq.
There we
Did
go.
you see what Shaq did to Chuck? I'm definitely
And all I'm going to
Shaq.
say is this, with the Shaq and Chuck situation, Shaq just rah. Chuck
No.
got facts.
No. Shaq got rings. Chuck has none.
Wow.
Are we going to skip past that he said Shaq and Chuck?
Google me, Chuck.
we was just going to fast forward? All right.
So today's topics, we'll be talking about making mistakes. So before we get right into it, we're going to let my man, Reverend Ferguson, open us up in prayer. Take it away, big dog.
God, we thank you for this time. We thank you, oh God, for every person who will tune in, who will receive. God, I pray, oh God, that you bless our time together. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 You can pray at my marriage. What you mean?
Any day.
Now, Father. Get a turkey a hand. Get the turkey a hand.
All right, so our first question for today is, tell us a time that you disappointed your parents, and I'm gonna let Rev go first. I'm gonna let Rev go first.
This is like the last podcast. I got about 3-4 situations.
Oh wow!
I disappointed my parents when I came out the womb.
Lord.
Oh man! Go ahead, Rev, or I can go, or you go.
I'm gonna go. Since I grew up single parent home, we went on a bomb.
What?
Space exploration class. I was in seventh grade. Had papers, projects, all of it. I didn't do a thing in that class. Couldn't stand to be in there. My mother comes from parent teacher conference. I act like, I aced and everything. She said, I know it's a problem because it's an F on the report card. Go down to the parent teacher conference. She came back up. She whispered to me. She said, now this is old school now. I know a lot of y'all don't get whooped like this, but
Discipline, Rev. Discipline.
Oh, excuse me. Discipline. Thank you, sir. But she whispered. She said, now it's going down when we get home, right? And she walked out the door and waved at everybody as she walked out. Bruh. That was the longest weekend because they put parent-teacher conference on Friday. The longest. I think I got whooped every day that weekend.
Discipline.
My mother has trophies for discipline. I got discipline every day that weekend, and so I think I'll say that and leave it there. We may come up with some other stuff a little bit later.
No. So mine is actually the same thing. It was just
Derek?
very much a different approach in terms of outcome. I first say my mom was never significantly on top of us about our grade because for the most part she just trusts that we were going to school and doing what we needed to do. We talking A and B student, occasional C here and there. I remember, was it Algebra 1, my first math class in 9th grade. It was one of those classes, they gave us a syllabus at the beginning of the school year, outline, right? I'm just coming from middle school, none of that really mattered, blah, blah, blah. And inside the syllabus, clear as day, you got a project due at the end of the semester. Well, I didn't read that. And so end of the semester comes and I have no project. And the teacher is it was inside the syllabus. You're supposed to be working on it throughout the semester, that type of thing. And I recall getting an F in a class, my first F. And the biggest thing about it was my mom didn't yell, my mom didn't scream at me, and that almost hurt worse. It's like I knew my mom was upset, but she didn't like do any of those like it just felt worse knowing moms was disappointed in you. And like that cut deeper than like any whooping I had ever got in my life, right? I had stopped getting whoopings by that time.
Discipline, sir.
I mean, I stopped getting discipline in that fashion at that point in my life, but just knowing moms was disappointing me, like cut deep.
Yeah.
And really altered like how I seen my like educational experience from that point. So especially in terms of academically, it wouldn't be the last time I got the F, but for the record. But like I remember that being a significant moment in my academic career.
I don't know if I want to go
Mine's is more like
7 or 8 or 11 through 15 or 16 through 19 called cuz. Let's see. A time, I'm like real. How many? It's 4 or 5 of them. Let's see. Truly disappointment. Dang. Well, to be honest, yeah. When my mom, I'll just be transparent. Sophomore in high school, and this girl calls my mom and tells my mom that she's pregnant with my baby. Right?
Okay.
It was one of them.
called your mom. Didn't tell you. Called your mother.
Call my mom because my brother and I, as far as my oldest sister, my family, especially my father's side, was real big time athletes. So it's between church and sports. It's really nobody we really don't know. Not bragging, but it's I mean, whatever city you want to go in, we know somebody there. And I heard about the rumor, I've been there. If y'all, everybody read in between the lines. I can't say I wasn't there, but I've been there. And so come to find out, you hear about it. I'm like, nah. So this was when my mom found out was actually when the little girl was born. Oh, you know what I'm saying? So I'm the type of person where you're not gonna come and tell me, you got a $50 in your pocket. I just supposed to believe you got $50 in your pocket. You may not. Either way. So during that time period of the young lady being pregnant, that once again, to be honest about it, you've been there. So I'm like, I know I've been there, but nah, because I know I don't do no spray paint. If y'all pick up what I'm putting down, you know what I'm saying? On the way we used to paint them walls back in the day, we used to do it with the roll up. Come on, Real. You feel me? Now they got the spray gun with the paint. You feel me? They don't paint the same. No, you can paint this whole library in probably 2 hours if you got the right team. Back in the day, it's gonna take you a whole week to paint this library. Because the brushes were different. You feel me? So but back then it was better quality than now. It was better quality than now. Either way though. So I had to go. I had to keep it. I remember playing in the games in high school. Real talk. I remember playing in the games, and you could hear people in the crowd talking about, yeah, him. That's the one that That's the one that got old girl. Yeah, that's him right there. So your name gets drugged through the mud.
Of course. You
know what I'm saying? You trying to defend yourself, especially as a man. You trying to defend yourself, and nothing you saying regulates for nobody. So when my mom told me about it, and everybody know, this one saying that your mother will say, or your father will say, that you're in trouble. They will ask you this: is there something you have to tell? Oh God.
You start searching the depths of your mind.
So you got to sit back and think, because you might snitch on yourself. You gotta
so it was crazy because, matter of fact, it wasn't my sophomore year, it was my junior year. Let me correct myself. My mom came to me after the game, my dad, my mom, me. After we lost in the playoffs game, the second round. We're supposed to go to the States that year, and so after the game, you come out, you ready to go home. You think you about to go get something to eat. My mom and dad standing there, and my dad was like, good job, I said, thanks, Pop. My mom, she just did like this, scratching, and that's when she said, you got something to tell me? I said, no. She said, I think you need to ride home with me tonight. I said, So get in the car, we going on about our business or whatever. And she asked me that question, got something? I said, no, I ain't got nothing. She said, well, you got a baby? I said, no, ma'am, I don't have a baby. She said, don't play with me. No, I don't have a baby. Yeah. So my mother was like, the reason why she was disappointed, not because of the baby, but because I'm the youngest of 9 children. So the same way that certain females have taken advantage of my brothers being big-time athletes, she knew that I had watched all of this growing up, what to look out for, you know what I mean? And so I had no excuse to play around with stuff I shouldn't have been playing around with. It's the worst thing to a male is hearing your mama cry. That's the worst thing. I don't care. Besides, I'm not married yet, but not putting business, rare is. But besides your mother is probably your wife. I don't have a wife yet, but so besides my mother, it's my grandmama and then my sisters. So hearing your mama cry, it cuts you different. Like Dad said, it won't no spanking, it won't no disciplinary act. It was just you could feel like, and then to see a tear roll down the eye, like it changed your whole mindset. So, long story short, the Lord gave me a way of escape, and it wasn't due to no abortion. I remember getting a call. I went down there. My mom took me down there. They swallowed my mouth. You know what I mean? Told me all this stuff. Yeah. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, shoot. Okay. Then when the baby was born, after when they did that after she was born, I saw the little girl. She looked just like me. Just like me. Her finger, that same finger I got right now, to this day, she got that same finger. Wow. The same way and it's crazy. Wow. Like, I promise you, she looked just like, if she would have walked in here right now, y'all would say, that's got to be your daughter, right? But the DNA test said it's not my daughter. And I remember my mom called me, and I was at work. I worked at the grocery store, and she called me. And Mr. Nick handed me the phone, and she said, you better be glad that the Lord love you. I said, why? She said, boy, that baby is not yours. She said the DNA test came in, and I remember yelling so loud in the grocery store, I ain't care. Because it's not that I didn't want the little girl, but I knew at that point, very similar to, I think it was real, single parent home, right? Yeah. My mom and dad, had to go here for Thanksgiving, go there for Thanksgiving, here for Christmas, go there for Christmas. So I ain't want my child to grow up in no separated home. You feel me? But that was number one. That's number one. Yeah. That was number one.
That's tough. It's crazy, man. I got a story like that, but that ain't the worst part. I just went to my mama. I remember I was in 4th grade. Oh man, this one it hit me deep. I know I disappointed in other ways, but I was in elementary school. And, I was a little bad kid. Boy, I needed discipline. And I was trying to act all hard, and the teacher pushed me. And, we went back and forth, and I stuck her. What?
Nah, I'm a little confused on the terminology y'all youngsters use these days.
Hey, tell them, bro.
Can you explain?
You Wesleyan 2016 football hoodie wearing.
Can you explain what you mean when you say you stuck them? I know what it means.
Was it with a pencil?
No, I stuck with hit her.
Oh, hit her.
Yeah.
Down goes free.
You hit him or her?
Her. Oh, yeah, no. I know. I know. Oh man, listen. It was bad because she hit me. So I'm like, oh no, that's what we not gonna do. I never get in there. I was like, bro, what? We went back and forth.
She punched you?
Yeah, she hit me in the arm.
She punched you?
No, she hit me in the arm.
How did she hit you?
Like she hit me.
We trying to give you credibility that you was in self-defense.
I'm telling you.
How did
she hit me
like hit you like
uppercut,
like a squirt? Like yeah. Like,
she hit me in the arm, and I was like, man, like you hit me. She go, I didn't hit you.
Was it a 1 through a 10, sir?
Huh?
1 through 10, what level?
It was like probably like a
0. It was a 0.
Like a 2.
Oh, yeah,
like a 2. It wasn't nothing crazy. So she hit me, and then she pushed me, and she grabbed me to like throw me like into the class and stuff.
He used a lot of hard language.
Me, I was like, oh, that's not finna fly. Like, you ain't gonna touch me. So I went back at her, we battling back and forth, and I hit her. And then she goes, you hit me. I was like, okay, you hit me. Like, what are we talking about here? So, they called my mother. Oh, man, this hurt. It did something to my spirit. My mama come down there, and my older sister, father come down there. We sitting in the principal's office with the deans and stuff. And I'm sitting there like, okay, I'm just going to get suspended. Like, ain't nothing, like, crazy going to happen. And she came in the office and saying her thing. My mom looked at me, and it was like we're looking at a ghost. And I was scared because I was like, oh, my mom not mad. She not yelling. She just looking at me like, and I was like, oh, this is serious. So when I got home, my sister's father at the time was, going off and whatever the case may be. My mom didn't say a word to me. I was in the backseat like, I don't care what he talking about. I don't care about what my mama talking about. And my mama ain't saying nothing. Mm-hmm. So this is real bad. And then when I got home, it got so bad, they took the bed. They took the doors off. You ain't getting no privacy. You ain't getting nothing.
They put you in timeout.
They put me in timeout. Yeah, it was timeout for like 1 or 2 months. No. And then what I didn't know until my mom told me is I had to go to court. Mm-hmm. Oh, that really did something to my spirit.
In 4th grade?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I had to go to court, so we had to go to the county's thing for a hearing. Mm-hmm. I ain't never been there a day in my life. Obviously, I've been there. I'm older now. But I went there, and I was like, oh, like, this is real. Like, this is real. Yeah. And my mother still didn't say nothing. She just looked at me. Oh, wow. And she just turned her head, was in there, and I never forget it. I had to speak in the microphone. There was about 6 of them sitting up there to do a hearing. And I was like, oh, like I had to speak into the mic. I heard my voice. I was like, okay. He's like, sir, do you know what you've done? I was like, no. Like, no, sir. Back and forth. And my mama, like, begged for them not to, for her not to press charges or me not to go, to jail or any alternative school. And right then I knew, I was like, yeah, my mom is like, she's done. Like, I knew she was done. I was like, she begging. My mom ain't begging for nothing, nor not hitting me for messing up. I was like, oh yeah, this is serious. And, the judge was like, basically, all right, you won't be able to return for the remainder of the year, but we're not going to expel you and send you to alternative school. And then I ultimately ended up going to private school. But yeah, that time, it was bad. It was bad. I really, and then she cried. And my mama don't cry. And my family, we don't cry for some weird reason. Don't even unless it's something really, 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 really serious. So my mama dropped a tear. She didn't even cry. She dropped one tear. I said, oh, this is real. Like, this is real. So that was the one time I disappointed my mom. That really hit me. And it was like, oh, like, yeah, I need to get my act together.
You should have started in the gridiron game then.
That's crazy, man.
As soon as you said 4th grade, oh yeah, you need to go.
I teachers fighting the students.
That's what I'm trying to say. How come I ain't see that video?
In Fort Lauderdale, it was worse, bro. Teachers was. I remember we were sitting in the class from 3rd grade, 4th grade, and she was like, "Oh, you getting mad, shit, Tony? You getting mad? What you gonna swing on me then?"
You better get some teachers fired.
You got their homie, dog. You went at their homie, dog.
Yeah, bro. It was like 2000, but it was discipline, man.
Hold on.
Well, that's what I'm covered too. Because in St. Louis, we would get disciplined.
Right, we get disciplined.
By this teacher.
That's right, and
then get sent to the principal.
Yeah,
then you get a newsletter sent home, and then you got to deal with that at home.
If you made it home, if they ain't come.
Yeah.
My grandmama came down the hall with that wig cut to the side like this, with a ruler in her hand.
We made it home.
And let's not act like it's all on the teacher. You
no,
talking
it was me.
you talking to like two former teachers right here.
It was me. I was
Y'all
a
students,
knucklehead.
y'all students could be a little.
But here's the thing about me in the classroom.
I sense a shift.
The problem was that I had so much energy and I wanted to talk and chill and have a good time. That was my problem. I was never disrespectful, calling people out their names and stuff
you
like
was.
that. Was never me.
Yeah, you was.
No, I was.
Yes, you
How you gonna
did.
tell me how I was?
No, you went at our homie. That you are teachers. We are teachers. You went at our homie.
Yeah.
You were disrespectful.
No, she was disrespectful.
She told you to sit down.
No, we were no. So we wasn't in the classroom. We weren't in the classroom. So you know when kids come in, like when you drop off
I don't know.
Your teacher.
I don't.
So let me say this way.
We
When you
weren't in
come
fourth grade.
into
Yeah, we were in fourth grade.
We weren't in fourth grade.
Okay,
middle school
but
stuff
it worked.
We were middle school teachers.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
let's get that
anyways,
straight.
when kids come in, they have to be in a holding area.
Holdings. That sounds like.
Hey,
Wait a
it's
minute.
a lot of incriminating happening around.
Yeah, in Fort Lauderdale.
No, but we was in the area that fourth graders had to go, fifth graders had to go. So we was in that area.
Gotcha.
And I was chilling with my boy, eating. I can't disclose names,
So y'all were having breakfast. You
Yeah,
said you was eating.
after breakfast. So we eat breakfast, we stand there, then they will walk us to the classrooms. That section.
That sound like
and I was talking to my boy, he was like, hey, wait, you know what I'm saying? We were having fun and whatever. And she jacked my I'm like, nah. Like you know, but I learned from that, and then I know it never happened again.
I would have learned too how to talk in
we-
that mic.
we
That's why
thankful,
you been
yeah.
production, because you heard your voice in that. That's why you went to production. That's why you good at all this. Now I understand why you're so good at all this stuff, because you heard your voice and it did something to you though. I'm with
Listen
you.
to my spirit. So that's my story.
Yo, that's actually crazy. All right, so we talked about like disappointing our parents, but what might be like scenarios where it may have like cost you your life or like your health or your safety, right? Because we talking about like a very pivotal moment for you in your journey, but any other mistakes that have almost cost you your health, your overall safety.
I'm gonna let someone go first before I go, because I know mine.
Sure. When I fell asleep at the wheel,
Oh,
that's when I learned falling asleep is worse than actually driving while under the influence.
Driving tired.
When you're sleepy, it's still against the law to get behind the wheel knowing that you're fatigued.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it, so I'm trying to make it to Kinston from here, and all I'm doing is this. It seemed like the miles was long and long, and all I kept doing was just windows down, and I fell asleep. But when I fell asleep, I was going 80 miles an hour.
Yeah. Ooh.
And the guardrails, that plate on the side, I knew I was tired, but I had an 8:30 service that next morning, and I didn't want to get up and leave Rocky Mount at 6:30 to get to my 8:30 service. I'd rather go home the night before, and it just, you wake up, you 20 minutes down the road. So I fell asleep, and my car was on. I didn't know my car was on. I didn't even hear the little rubber thing. I mean, not rubber thing, but the safety thing when you run off the road. And when I woke up, the Lord woke me up right. I'm talking about from me to you was where I was at. And I jerked my wheel, and my car went on two wheels. And then I jerked it back, and then it was on the other two wheels. So I was sitting like this, and then all you heard was skirt. And then I just took my hands off the wheel and I stopped. And I was like really, really scared because I knew I was about to die. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. How you see it in movies like somebody say they about to die. Yeah. And you sitting up here like, nah, they don't know. It was at that point where I told myself, I'm about to die.
Right.
And somehow, I went in the ditch, came out of the ditch, and the car just stopped on the road. And when I didn't tell my mama. I didn't tell my daddy. But I told my siblings. Yeah. Because we all, my siblings and our parents raised us to be
close.
Yeah. Tight, right?
Yeah.
So before I even called my mama and my daddy, even to this day, it's a habit I got to break. I call my sisters and my brother and tell them everything before I tell, and we all say, don't tell mom and dad, you know. But when
let's redact some of this.
so when she found out, and some people like, well, that's not a big mistake. It was a mistake because she would always tell me to stay in Rocky Mountain and rest and just get up the next morning. But I wanted to go ahead and hurry up and get home because I got tired of driving, leaving here 6:30 and then getting 6:45, 6:50. Service started at 8:30. You got to be there by 8:15. Yeah. I got tired of, you know what I'm saying? That means I got to get up at 5:15 to drive an hour. So that disappointed her because I almost died. Right. And then her hearing of the story after like 2 months later.
Hear it from you?
Where it happened.
That was going to be my question.
Yeah, because that'd be making it worse when mom heard through a grapevine.
She heard it. We was in church, and I ended up testifying. That's when.
The church got him. What's up with the church got him?
It's testimony service.
Yeah, man. But it was like, you know, back then. They didn't really call it praise breaks back then. Yeah. We just had the spirit got high in church, and I just I had to tell it because it was so heavy on me. So when I told her, she was, you know, once again, we stepped outside, and she was just like, "Don't you ever let me have to hear about something else." And then to tell her that, I said, "Well, Hannah and Riri knew." And my brother knew, you know.
See?
But I was just
talk about betrayal.
Everybody, if I'm going down, everybody going down today.
Yeah, but so that was my biggest because of not following instructions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And she always told me you can get another car. You know, which the car won't. I didn't crash the car. Right. You know, it won't no damage nowhere to the car, but almost hitting that guardrail going 80 miles an hour and I, you know, just that part. So.
No, I actually relate to that heavy. That's not the story I'm going to tell, but I've been in the same situation. I was actually leaving from here trying to drive back to Virginia. It's like 2 a.m. And I was just so tired that I fell asleep. My car swerved into the other lane. I literally woke up and like jerked my car back, and I pulled over to the side of the road. Cops end up pulling up behind me. And I'm like, great. And they're like, we just see you on the side. We don't want it. We don't want another car to like not see you and accidentally like run over. And I was like, yeah, officer. It's like, where you headed? I was like, headed to Virginia. I just felt myself getting tired, so I pulled over. And he was like, you think you're going to make it? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, all right, well, you be safe. And he let me on about my merry way. And because at this point, I'm like an hour into the drive. So if I'm going to drive an hour back, I might as well drive an hour towards like my actual destination. And I'm talking, I'm going 20, 25 miles per hour the whole time, just like blinking. I'm just like, just stay awake type thing. But yeah, that was that one situation. I was like, never again. I'll just like, whatever situation is, if I gotta be late, I'm just gonna be late. I'd rather just stay wherever I'm at, make sure I'm properly rested.
It's crazy. I got the same thing as him too. Driving up here 10 hours, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm dozing. Yeah. And then all I hear, yup.
So you left at night or you drove during the day? Cause I'm a night rider. Like I get on the road 12 because I don't like traffic. I think it's stupid. Like people,
and that's why I felt like I could do it. I was like, I'm good. Like I always do this, blah blah blah. But no, that time specifically, I was just way too tired.
Yeah, it was like I always drive nights. And the time that I drive is weird because I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna leave early in the morning, then I'll be playing a game with my boys.
Just get up.
Yeah, I'm literally playing the games with my boy B, and I'm like, all right, B, I'm gonna drive now because the time I'm playing games with you, I could be driving up, and they be like, all right, well, I'll see you next, December or summertime, bet. And then I just drive, and it's the 3 hours left that really kills me.
So was it 10 hours? You drove 10 hours straight?
Yeah.
No pulling over, no nap. I mean, I know gas, but I'm talking about like no nap, nothing.
Nah.
10 hours straight.
10 hours straight going strong.
Salisbury, St. Louis. It's
See?
Straight, no.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Straight.
You got to.
Bruh.
Gotta see it through.
Yeah, got to.
I'm saying it too, but straight no.
Because let me tell you why. For me, if I take a break, it's gonna mess with me. Like, bro, the time that you sleeping, you could be sleeping when you
I can
done.
rock off with 6 hours. I mean, I can.
Because once you get to 3,
Not now. I ain't doing 12 now.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can go to New York 8.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can do 7.
no, I'm going 8 straight. Because
I got to stop and go see if walk around the mall or something. I don't know.
Oh no!
Now I'm trying to find a plane ticket.
Yeah, it is. Hey, no lie, bro. No lie.
I'm about to
From
lean
Florida
back.
to New York, 2 hours. From here to New York, probably an hour or less. I'm with him. I'm buying a plane ticket. I'm flying.
True.
I
So
ain't got nothing to prove at this point.
thank you. Phil.
I'm gonna go see.
Hey, you know what? I guess that's what it is, bro. It's like because when my brother Scott Cooper
Shout out to
was at
Scott.
Western Carolina, bro, he'll tell you I be knocking on his door 4 o'clock in the morning. And it's 5.5 hours from here. I just jump up. If you don't pick up that phone and I got that nudge like something wrong, I'm getting on the road and it don't bother me, but it's like it's a challenge. I'm gonna drive like, bro, can you do this 5.5? Yeah, I can do this 5.5.
Yeah.
I got over 1,000 songs on my phone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I started, it goes from songs, then I start listening to
The
podcasts.
videos.
Right. Yeah, I listen to podcasts, and that's what made me get into podcasts.
Well, so that's actually like the space where I do a lot of my writing and just kind of like
Thank
thinking
you.
as well.
Yeah.
So like I've done the 13-hour, 15-hour drive,
Bless your heart.
and just the whole time I'm listening to music, I'm listening to podcasts here and there. A lot of the poems that I've written like while I was in the car, or like I'm piecing the lines together, and it's just me, open road, just space, no traffic most of the times, because
It's you and them 18 wheelers,
Yeah.
and them 18 wheelers will get you. They will get you. They will get you there.
That's right.
Shoot.
That's right.
Red, you got a story, Red?
I got one topic, 2 stories.
Let's go with the story first, so I can tell.
No, because it's connected. It's the club.
Okay.
How you gonna tell that man?
Here we go.
I'm saying, how you gonna ask him? He got
it's the
something to
club.
say. He got a story. He gonna tell you how he want to do
Because
it.
he said he had a topic.
But
we still on this topic.
No, we stand on the same
Okay,
topic.
That's what I'm saying. Let that man speak.
The question was, when have you made a decision that you almost died from? Right? Almost hurt yourself.
yeah.
Right.
The club.
Big.
Going to the club. Now, one is in St. Louis, one is in East St. Louis. If you don't know about the East Side, it get real different.
East side.
Sing the song. You know the song, don't you? Sing it.
This is the calf every time we get together right here. So the one in St. Louis, we were in the youth choir at church. Sang the house down, people shouting, running around, everything else. My boys and I get over, we sit down on the pew and say, okay, none of us were driving at the time. Who mama gonna take us to the club tonight? No, I'm sorry. One of my friends was driving. What time are we going to the club tonight? That was a different time. What time are we going to the club tonight? Now, again, people are literally shouting in the sanctuary. And we trying to figure out, what we gonna do about this club situation. Get there, it's wild in there. Get out.
Wait, what time frame year was this?
This was 15, 16.
No, he said what part of the year? What year?
Oh,
Like Thanksgiving, Christmas.
No, like
This
the year, like
sometime.
2000 what?
Oh.
Because you got it, because the club was jumping into.
2000.
Yeah, okay, I was about to say the club was jumping
Oh,
at that time.
he the cash money millionaire. They were getting their roll on. They were getting their roll
I
on.
gotta know what time frame
Shoot.
my mind
Lil
is.
Weezy just came out in 99, 2000.
Hey, man.
All of that. Hot boys all love.
Shoot. That,
Yeah, I ain't gonna go into all the details in the club. I can't do that. I might mess some of y'all up listening to this. But we're gonna move forward there. So we get out of the club. Somebody had jacked my friend's. He had like a radio. Y'all remember them face plates?
You always supposed to take the faceplate out.
Oh,
You
man.
supposed to take it with you.
Oh,
That's the rule.
At 15, 16, for whatever reason that night, bro left it in. Got out. The whole thing was gone. The whole middle. It wasn't just the faceplate. It was the whole thing.
Was it a Pioneer?
I think so.
Shit, you
took the whole thing.
The whole thing. It was one of the ones that you can get at Walmart. We got out, we rolled up there, music all the way up, windows down, this, that, and the other. We had to go back home.
That's what you heard.
We were on mute.
You heard that air.
But I think about the fact that had we been out there, depending on, I never found out who took the radio, who stole the radio, but had we been out there, what could have happened? Somebody rolling up, depending on how many people is with this person's crew, do they come strapped, ready to go? What's going on there? So I think about that situation. The east side, we used to hit the club on the east. There's a couple clubs on the east in East St. Louis. One time we were over there, they shooting while we in the club. You hear bullets as you trying to get out. And with all the spraying they were doing in that club, not one bullet hit me.
Yeah.
So I think about things like that, and I like to share that, because people see sometimes they see us in collars and think that.
Right, you ain't never did nothing.
Like,
right.
Let me just talk to you. Let me just talk to you straight, because what with the sneaky links and everything else out here, let me just talk to you real quick. Let me just sit you down, and let's just talk straight. So I'm grateful that, because in both of those situations, I made a decision to go. I knew what I was getting into. I didn't know who all was waiting, but I knew certain parties were waiting for me when I got to the club. So I made the decision to go, but I'm grateful that in neither of the situation, I was able to walk away, not looking like what I'd been through. So,
okay, I like that. Whew, man, mine. Oh God, this is when I was in 8th grade.
There you go. Can you get past 15?
Hey, bro, we make it out, but
I'm with you.
So in 8th grade, I never forget it, man. We was, shout out to Discovery. We went to
What is
this party.
that, Walt Disney? Is that a Disney channel?
No. Listen.
What is that, a Disney channel?
Listen. So, we was on the block, and I can't say no names, but God, the names are good in this. All right, so it's me and my boy. It was after a basketball game, you know what I'm saying? And I was in 8th grade, and we knew the high schoolers. Now, I got to say these people's name. It's nicknames.
Hold on. Before you do that, have you looked into the statute of limitations? Before we go down this road.
You're going to like this story. So we go to the party, and my boy Treetop was like, hey, we got a party. They was in high school, we was in middle school. We trying to be cool with high school. You know how that is. So he's like, hey, man, it's a party. All the bras going to be there. We going to be there. Bet. So
He mean women.
Oh, wow. So, young ladies.
Yes.
Young ladies. So we like, all right, bet. So all of us after the middle school game, we select a few. So we go up in there. Listen here. So we walk up. All I see is this. I knew this was going to be disaster. I don't even know why I even say it. All I see is Crips outside, bumping Snoop Dogg.
Oh.
Now, and I see, and it was a blood party.
Dude,
Yeah. So,
what they say that they red flags?
They were Discovery, all right. They're trying to figure out who around that bar. Joker can't recognize him. Shot up so bad.
If you didn't know, you're going to learn today.
Bro, true story. And then one of my boys says they're going to laugh because they know this story. True story. So I pull up. I'm like, all right, cool. I was messing with a broad there too. You know what I'm saying? So she was in high school. We're not going to get into that. So she was in high school. So I'm chilling. I'm like, yo, what, blah, blah, blah. So I come in there, my boy Treetop and Santal was like, yo, What up, Shanton? You know what I'm saying? You know, we dapping everybody up, cool. They blasting Game, and outside they blasting Snoop Dogg, right?
Okay.
So the Bloods and the Crips getting an altercation. So I'm sitting here like, oh, it's about to go down. Like, hey, Mo, wait, you and your, we gotta go type deal. So, you know, one of my boys was like, nah, bro, we chilling, bro. I'm like, I'm looking at him like, you know what, bro? We chilling, bro. We chilling. So, you know, they getting an argument outside, cussing, you know, blah, 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 right? So my boy went up to one of the Bloods and was like,
Oh no.
hey, bro, you straight? He said, if I'm saying this is a PG version. If you ain't blood, don't talk to me. And I said, Mike, come on, bro. This ain't the time. I know you 6'5" and you look the high school part. We in 8th grade. This ain't the time,
bro.
This ain't the time. So one of the Bloods got in the car, spin the whole block left, came back, right? Crips left, spin the block, came back. All I heard was this. I'm in the park. I'm like, okay, everything died down. It's 5 minutes later. We cool, man. You know, we calm it down. So Treetop come outside like, hey, man, y'all can't be doing that, blah, 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 whatever. He a whole Blood, you know, whatever they could do. You know, none of my business. All I hear was this. I'm like, yo, like rinse in the sky. So I'm sitting there.
That Katy Perry fireworks out there.
More than fireworks, bro. I kid you not, bro. I wish this was a lie. This sounds like a fairy tale. I sat there and was like, bruh, ain't no way this is going down. So everybody's screaming, and I was like, it happened so fast, and my mind was going so slow. So, you know, the girl I was messing with and the money and all them, they ran outside.
The young lady,
they screaming,
the
right?
young lady he was conversing with.
Yes, the young lady I was conversing with, they run outside. Treetop slammed the garage on everybody, on their heads and everything, kicking them out like, yo, get out. I'm sitting here literally watching this happen. It's a whole like fight outside. Like, I didn't care what was going outside. So people hiding, running, blah, blah, blah. So I hit the block, you know, I get underneath the garage when he was done slamming people's heads in. And I bust the left. And, you know, they screaming. I'm like, stop screaming. Like, they gonna find us. Mind you, I'm in 8th grade. Like, this is crazy. And they kept going straight, and I bust another left. And somebody, God rest his soul in peace, was in the alleyway, and he got rinsed right in front of my eyes. Like, bop, bop, bop. They was like, bop, bop, bop. They got rinsed. And in my mind, I couldn't stop. Like, I really couldn't stop. So I was running, and I was like, yo, I'm about to die. Like, it was like, yo, I'm really about to die. So I slipped, and one of my boys, and I ain't gonna give him a shout out, D, he grabbed me when I slipped and pulled me back. And then that guy, you know, whatever happened to him, and they were just doing their shooting thing, whatever. And when I tell you I never seen cops come so fast in my life, helicopters, streets were locked down. Oh. Every block we were on, you got who are you, what's your name, boom, boom, boom. It happened so fast. So we all met up at the light pole. We got a little light pole spot on, you know, Newcastle. So we all, you know, we go to the light pole. All I hear was this. Shantoni, where were you?
Yo mama. Yo mama. The way he snapped his head, I know that was your mama.
I was like, where was I? Where was you? You supposed to be a man. You supposed to make sure I'm okay. I said, listen here. You left me.
This is the young lady.
Oh, the young lady. I thought it was the mom. When you said Shantoni, where was you?
No, yeah, this is the young bride. So she was like,
your young lady.
The translator of the tongues.
I'm trying to say.
So I'm sitting here like, you left me. What is we talking about here? You was screaming. You can't be screaming. You know, we go to that situation. So every block we go, we walking back home. Mind you, it's like a 30-minute walk. So we walking back home. You know, my boy and T go the other way. I go the other way. I go home, and thank God my mama didn't ask me no questions. I know that. I know. She said, "You see the cops outside, right?" I said, "Yes, ma'am. That's why I brought my behind home." That was a good excuse. Yeah, y'all better use that one. That's why I bought my behind home. But in that
Y'all
moment,
don't say behind in Florida. That don't sound right. Y'all don't say behind in Florida. Y'all don't. You ain't
What
start
you
saying.
mean?
You
I
ain't
brought
start
my
saying the
behind
word behind pertaining to your anus or your buttocks until you got to Carolina. That's Carolina term.
No, it's not.
So y'all say behind in Florida.
I say behind
In Florida.
And to my mother, yes.
Nah, in Florida.
Yes, I was
So
living in
you,
Florida.
out of all the peoples in Florida, you the only one that say behind.
There are probably people that do, but I can't vouch for them. I can vouch for myself.
I can vouch for all North Carolinians around here.
here
That's
we go.
what we say.
Oh, okay.
Welcome. We adopt you.
Hind parts. Hind parts.
So, you know, and the moral of the story was like one decision. It could have been your life. Like,
Right.
True.
I'm not gonna say it scarred me because it changed my life though. And you know, yeah, I was like I said, I was like, what? It was in 8th grade, and that happened.
Let me ask you this:
Talk to me.
the young man that got
Rinse.
rinsed in the alley. When you slipped, was you in that alley?
Yes.
So when my man grabbed you, he grabbed you so
because-
you wouldn't get hit.
Yes.
Bet. Okay.
That's
all right,
why it was
all right,
like I'm about to
you.
die.
Got
Like,
you.
I can't slow down. And you know, I had work, clothes on, and it was wet grass. I'm like, I'm dead. Like,
Yeah, got you.
yeah. So that's why. And I talked to him to this day because like at the end of the day, he saved my life.
Right.
That's real. So one decision can alter your life. You could be dead, and I stuck with that. To this day. So that's my mistake. I should have left when I wanted to left. I'm behind still. We having fun with the high schoolers.
No,
he could've been
go back to the Bloods and Crips. You say somebody was outside, somebody was right inside. No,
I should have turned right back. But
That's just like oil and vinegar. I mean, oil and water in the same. No, bro.
There's a bunch of signals.
You see what I'm saying?
I heard in that story.
The crazy thing is, he saw it.
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah, he saw it.
And you know
That's what I'm trying to
This
say.
is why I say only God, because ain't no way I see Bloods and Crips and get like, you know what? Maybe it's not time for me to go here.
Right.
Then I hear arguing outside. Then I go, you know what? Maybe they get a little rowdy. Maybe it's time for me to leave.
So let me ask you this: when did you think it was okay
Yeah.
to go in there?
Because so let me tell you why. And you know you're gonna laugh. Our middle school was everybody knew our class because we hang out. Sadly, we everybody knew everybody, right? So we would hey, those little kids, we protect them type deals. Like
Okay.
Yeah. So everybody in like 4 cities already knew us. So when I walked in there, I knew a couple Bloods, I knew a couple Crips. Like I was like, it was a blood party. I knew the guy who did the blood party. I knew something in the Crips. So I was good. But the bullets weren't good, but I was good.
Right.
So that's why I was okay going, because I'm like, okay, I know you, I'm good with it. Like even my one of my best friends, he's a Crip. His brother wanted to fight me. He didn't know he knew who I was, didn't know my name. And I was a freshman in high school. He was like, nah, bro, he talked to my girl, but it wasn't his girl, whatever. And then he goes, yeah, that was just crazy. And then she goes, the crazy part was, he goes, where he at? So I was best friend with his friend. He's like, you gonna really fight Shay? He's like, yup. And then he saw me, he goes, what's up? And he dashed me up and goes, what's up, bro? I was like, what's happening? And he goes, Richmond was like, that's Shay Antonio. He goes, oh, no, he's straight. No, he good. He good. I thought it was someone else, bro. You good, dapped me up, and it was straight. So that's why I was like, I'm okay going to that party, because, But yeah, it was a dumb mistake. It was dumb, man. One false move.
We live and we learn.
He looked like that's who he looked like. He don't look like Walter Payton, bro. And you know who he looked like? Old buddy off Family Matters. The son.
Oh, I think you talking about the dad.
That's who you look like.
Oh,
That's who he looked like. Bro, when he was talking, Eddie Winslow. That's what it is. Yo, when you was talking, I was looking right at Eddie. That time Eddie went in that part. Look, it was an episode on Family Matters when Eddie went to the club, wasn't supposed to be there, and tried to take up for what's the dude that used to run his words. He had big lips. His good friend. Bruh, that's you.
Whoa,
sugar.
Well, we both.
Oh, that might stick.
No,
that might stick.
not gonna stick. But we both alive. Let's just thank God for that.
What about Suge?
Can't put him there.
All right, so here's my last question. If you had to go back and fix one mistake, what would it be and why?
So
I know.
the scenario I was thinking about the entire time. Y'all shared what y'all shared, just in terms of like how one event can like alter your entire career, or like has the potential to. Disclaimer, or like just like for the record, I don't remember all the details myself. Like what I know has just been what's shared to me from other people. Nonetheless, I got into a physical altercation my freshman year in college. First semester, as a matter
Derek,
of fact.
you, bro?
Hold up.
You keep running around here.
Hey,
man.
old man, hey, Dio,
I saw it. I saw it.
The same way D turned a while ago and looked at that square is the same way he just turned
know, I
and
just
looked at
seen
it.
his
That's why I started bugging like.
He keep
Listen.
taking laps. Maybe he was trying to get on the podcast or something. He was trying to-
We can have a squirrel on the podcast.
I don't mess with nothing I see moving. My spidey senses start tingling.
You ain't lying.
Nah, for real. I was never like a rah like fighter or whatever.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
I've had my share here and there, and so I mean, and that was actually the thing about it, right? So it's my freshman year of college. I'm told I'm knocking the dude's hat off his head, and he's like repeatedly telling me to stop. I, to this day, don't believe that, because my whole life, I ain't never been somebody who's done that. I don't just go like agitate people if you're not my siblings. Yeah, like my sisters could be sitting there peacefully. I'm gonna go disturb the peace.
Hey, I do the same thing. Okay, I give you that.
Pull up.
Right.
Yeah.
But like in general, that's just not my character. And so like that even changed the dynamics of like the people I used to hang with my freshman year, because like that just seemed out of my character. But that's the story we're going with. Nonetheless, dude ends up like punching me in the face. And he lived right across the hall, like situation, like according to them, I wasn't like riled up at first. Told dude like leave, whatever. Time progressed. You got like the little metal poles that act as like a rack, that you hang your clothes on. So I had took that out of the locker. I mean my wardrobe, wardrobe, and I went over to his room. Now everybody's suddenly alarmed, right? He just punched me in the face.
Nobody say
anything, or like they treating it like it's cool.
Right.
I'm about to go handle it the Florida way.
Gridiron gang.
Yeah, I'm Florida gang.
Rhyme mob, nuck if you buck.
I'm Florida man right
Florida.
now.
Oh, you old scrappy now.
I'm Florida man right
old
now.
scrappy.
No problem.
Yeah, and now I'm the issue. You feel me? And so like it gets to a point like I black out. Like I'm just so mad. Like I black out, and that's why I say I don't even recall. Long story short, I ended up getting handcuffed that night. I always like am loose with saying arrested, 'cause I don't know the difference. But I get handcuffed that night by the PD. But I actually woke up in a hospital.
Oh.
So according to the officer, when he handcuffed me and he put me in a car, he was saying that I like came back or like came into it and was telling him I didn't remember anything. And so they took me to the hospital. So I literally wake up in a hospital. My mom, my stepmom, my dad is like in the room with me. And then they end up like explaining what's been shared with them. That always comes up for me because in just that instant, I could have like ruined everything I like worked my entire career for, right? And that matters is because I'm in a different space now. I'm in a different environment, and I can't address things how it would be addressed from where I came from. You're playing by different rules. You're in a different setting. You is especially being a 6'3" black man, right? It's not that hard for me to look like the aggressor in many situations.
Right.
So that was a huge learning lesson for me. I think I take it deeper because it's also about like discipline. It's also about self-control. Like, it's also like a huge proponent is that's not who I want to be. That's not how I want to be seen. And so from there, like a lot of work had to be done on anger management, right? A lot of work had to be done on not allowing people to disturb my peace, right? I have to like guard my heart. I have to guard my spirit in such a way that I don't allow myself to be disrupted by other people. Even when they say in that instance, I like created the circumstance or whatnot, just moving forward, that situation helped me recognize how much work I had to do on like growing myself to who I am today. But like that one decision, let the right person tell the right story, or let the cop, make the decision in any other way, I jeopardized everything I had worked for.
Yeah.
And that was definitely a life-changing moment. And so I learned a lot from that, but looking back, I identified it as like I would have took a different approach, right? I wouldn't even have allowed it to get to that point.
That's the time that you will take back and fix.
Yeah.
I might as well. I'll go with mine. Not taking my education serious. If I could go back and fix it, I would have taken it. I took it serious. Obviously, I got my master's degree now. But playing catch up was very, very hard. Growing up, everybody used to tell me, Shatone, you're going to make it out. Don't worry about it. Everything's going to come. So I got complacent. And, I just didn't take it serious. I was like, okay, cool. Everybody's saying I'm going to make it. I'm going to be good. I never forget it. We had to take FCAT, and I used to feel it on purpose. Like, I got until, because your junior year, you ain't got to take it no more. Standardized tested in Florida for people who don't know.
Yeah, I was going to tell you. It's like, I don't even think y'all knew what FCAT was.
Yeah, I knew it had something to do with academics. I'm like, you ain't had to take it. Yeah, okay, that's
so,
academic.
FCAT. So I'm like, all right, junior year. I'm like, I feel I'm going to pass it my senior year. Come senior year, I didn't even pass it. And then next week, I'm sitting here like, oh, bro, I might not even graduate high school type deal. So I had to pass ACT, SAT. Did good, but you had to get an 18 on the reading. Boy, I couldn't read. Boy, at that time, I comprehend. Well, I could read, I can comprehend and retain that information that I read.
I'm sorry.
That's story for another day.
I'm not going.
But that's
He was fighting his teacher. He was supposed to be learning.
He heard his voice in that mic and it changed his life. What you just said don't make no sense. But it's your time.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna go ahead.
So ultimately, I didn't graduate high school, and that really hit me deep because I was like, bruh, I'm supposed to go to school, play football, do all these things. And, I'm telling coaches, I didn't graduate high school. They looking at me like, what? Like, it didn't make sense. Like, you got a good GPA, blah, blah. I couldn't, comprehend and read. So I never forget the day. God, this was one of the days I was sitting at my boy Brian's house. Shout out to you, B. And me, Brian, we was sitting there, and I was sitting there like, bro, what am I going to do? And then I took initiative and said, I got to take this GED. Like, I just got to. And it was the same year that they increased the difficulty of the GED. And I was like, wow, this is just meant to happen type deal. So I never forget, I sat there from 12 p.m. and I left at 8 p.m. because you got to take all the sections. So I said, I'm paying for all the sections, and I'm sitting there and did it. And I passed, and I got my GED that night. And I sat there and was like, bruh, like, if I would have taken this seriously, I wouldn't have to go through this. And, I went to community college, obviously. And then, obviously, my cousin went here, then I came here ultimately. But if I had to take a time back, right there, because education is very important. You got to use education to your advantage. Knowledge is power. And not fight teachers.
It's not funny when you say it. It's only funny. It's only funny with me.
Because you guys are teachers.
Because we was teachers.
Okay, all right. So you understand.
No, we don't understand.
No, I don't understand.
You've never been. You
I
put
can't
your
relate.
hand. No, I used to.
No,
Get
no.
riled up. I wish I could see this.
Bro, all I'm saying is this, bro. My mom always told me, don't let nobody put their hands on.
My mama always told me, you don't start it, but you finish it.
And I almost did.
No,
I'm lying. I didn't
finish. Dude, you was sitting in front of the microphone. She won't.
Yeah, you right. Yeah, she said she ain't pressing no charges. Shout out to her.
I'd have
Because look, my mama would have burst out.
I'd have sued you for all them pimento cheese sandwiches. For the rest of the year, all your snacks, all your lunch come to me.
Oh man, that was oof, boy. Hey man, all it takes is one decision.
You want to go real?
Are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm processing right now.
Okay, well I bet. So,
here we go.
From first off, the biggest mistake I made was coming in this room without my jacket on.
But it is.
Look, no, all jokes aside, the biggest mistake I ever made, I wish I could go back and change, is not accepting my calling while my uncle was living. My uncle, the late assistant to the bishop, Michael Angelo Whitfield, I got prophesied over when I was 16, supposed to have been preaching when I was 18.
Oh, wow.
And when I got closer to 18, it's an old saying that church mothers used to say, you think you're running away from God, but you're actually running to him.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was doing everything in my power from the time I got prophesied over up until the time I actually began preaching, not to preach. And so my uncle, while he was living, I didn't know he was sick. Okay. I didn't know he had no type of, health disease. I didn't know. No, matter of fact, I think the only people that knew was my Aunt Doris, which is his wife. And then when it got really, really, really bad, my mother, I think he shared it with the sisters. Okay. And that was it. So when I didn't start preaching until he passed. And everything, his robes, his clothes, his shoes, I could fit every last bit of it, right? So I didn't know him and my aunt I didn't know the conversations that he mentioned to my aunt until she started calling me, hey, your uncle got all this stuff in here. See if you can fit it. Like she would tell me to meet her at this store. Let me know when you come to Kinston. I'll meet her there. And she'd hand me a big bag. Let me know what you can fit in here. Most of the stuff, and I mean most of it, I could fit. I think it was probably one pair of shoes I couldn't fit. Wow. Maybe two, okay, because his foot was wide. His was wide and long. Mine was just wide and short. So the reason why that was a mistake, because I always, like, he was a theologian, right? I'm talking about like a...
What is that?
Theologian is like it's a...
For the listeners that don't know what that is.
It's a different part of ministry.
Okay.
You know, you got a lot of historians.
Okay.
And then you got theologians who, when it come to, and Rail can tell you, when it come to that book, those 66, they go down up in there, and it's stuff. They could take a scripture, one scripture, and give you the background on that whole scripture that probably 10, 12, 15, 20 pages from that one little scripture. Yeah,
that's deep.
It's a lot. But so he ran the Bible college for the Free Will Baptist denomination, which is underneath the direction of my grandfather, which is Bishop Johnny Irvin Reddick. And so that was my mistake, because a lot of the knowledge, like I used to sit underneath this. I sat underneath because my brother and I played for him at the 8:30 service, which I still currently play at that service now, and that's one of my churches now. But we just sit underneath his teaching.
Yeah.
And then to see the transparency, how he was, very similar to what Rev said earlier. You know, you thinking like, okay, Uncle ain't never did nothing. He would always say Junior, That's how he talked. And you knew service got good to him because he would sit in the pulpit with his head rocking like this. You know what I'm saying? And so I didn't, but I was scared, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and it wasn't scared of making a mistake. It wasn't scared of like people. It was being afraid of how great the Lord really was going to use you. Mm-hmm. Like you know what I'm saying? It's scary, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't know, then you know. But my uncle knew the whole time. I didn't know. Mm-hmm. He told my mother before I even was prophesied over. He told my mother. But that time, and we will always say, no, matter of fact, yeah, we will always say right before he passed, we will always say the last time I saw him, the last time I physically saw him, I saw him in the hospital, which I used to see him all the time. He was telling me, I went to the house, my aunt called me over there. My stepfather had passed. My mom was over there at my uncle's house, and I went over there to console my mom and everything. And my uncle, he was watching, this food stuff on the TV, what not to eat, how food is really processed and all that bit.
What
and
the health?
Yeah, so that was it. That was it. So I was like, he said, Junior, I don't eat a lot of stuff no more. I said, you don't eat no meat? He said, no. I said, oh, you crazy. I was getting it to him, right? I said, no. He said, no, man, you need to sit down. He said, I'm telling you, you got to watch it. I said, I know steak, I know chicken, I know pork. I love it all. Whatever you want to get to me, baked, fried, however. And I was just going at them, but not in a disrespectful way. We was just dialogue. Yeah. But now I don't eat meat, and it's crazy because it didn't happen like just automatic. It just it started with a fast, and then spiritual fast. I told the Lord whenever He take me off of it, whatever. And so at that time, my mother had handed me a Hebrew Bible. And see, it's the Hebrew Bibles and Rev know the way English we do it, we read left to right.
They read right to left.
They read right to left, and you can have, in the English term, we'll have a whole sentence. In the Hebrew, they'll have one word that represents that whole sentence. So it's very, very hard to read.
It is.
But my uncle, he because he was a theologian, like him reading it, he always said, we need to sit down, and I said, okay, I'm gonna get, I'm gonna get to you. And I kept saying I'm gonna get to him, right? And I never did it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So when he went into the hospital, I would go back. I was going back and forth with my mom from here to Greenwood like clockwork. And the last time my aunt called me, and she said, you need to get to the hospital. They don't think he's gonna make it. So I said, well, let me know when everybody done went in there or whatever, and then call me, and then I'll come. So she called me, I went in there, and at that time, they weren't allowing nobody to stay back there. You had to, stay back there with her, and then she would walk you out. Well, I stayed back there for like an hour, right? She shut the glass door, and the nurse got ready to come in there and get me, and she told the nurse, she was like, no, he need to talk to his uncle. And so he was non-responsive, right? But he was nonverbal. Okay. But he would move his finger very, very slow to try to get you a response. And so I ain't seen that since my grandfather passed in 91 when I was 4 years old. Now my different for his
because I don't say 4, I say 4.
He was in 4th grade.
He was in 4th grade.
I was in 4th grade.
I was 4 years old, right? But I went in there, and while I was in there, I was apologizing to him for the time that all those years that I didn't accept my calling, that I didn't take the initiative to go sit with him. Mm-hmm. And I looked at his eye, and he was trying to form a tear in his right eye to try to let me know. And I told him, I said, you ain't got to respond. I said, I know you hear me. You know what I'm saying? I got you. And I looked again, and that tear just, one of them, it was just one tear, bro. It rolled down his eye, and I shook his hand, and I hugged him. And I stayed back there. I don't know what time I left out of there, but I was just apologizing to him because I didn't take advantage
of the opportunity.
You know what I'm saying? Or the time I had to study. You know what I mean? And real know, like it's when you got them jokers who's over you and they really know they can go down up in the it's priceless what you can get.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? And I didn't take it. And now where I am now, even though that happened many years ago, when I think it was 6 now. Yeah, it is 6, because my grandmother been dead too. No, 4 years ago. What is 21?
Yeah.
Yeah, 17. Yeah, 17. So that was my biggest mistake. And so now I never put stuff off.
Right.
Like, you know, if I need to get to somebody, if somebody say, hey, I need to meet with you, I would try to make sure I go ahead and meet because
you never know.
I never know when it's the last time. So that's my biggest mistake.
That you would want to fix if you could.
Heck yeah. Shoot. I mean, because that was my dude. Like, man, me and my uncle, that was my guy. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
And I mean, to hear him, like, even when he introduced somebody, like other preachers, and just talking to him, bro, he made you want to open that Bible and do this. He made you want to go find what he was talking about. And that's like, bro, I didn't take advantage of it.
I got you.
That's tough. Rather be the last one.
Russ, you talking about, man, I was thinking about one that was a little bit, it's serious, but it's light. From a listen to Russ, it got me thinking about my grandmother. I regret not going to St. Louis to see her before she passed. That thing still eats at me. And it wasn't, let me come back to that. Because that thing still.
No, I feel you.
I was gonna talk about is light, but it's serious. I had a lot of growing to do as a teenager. This is my junior year in high school. Dating a young lady. I hear rumors that she's at the movies with so and so, this, that, and the other.
Oh, it's game time.
I already know what he did.
Yeah, it's game time.
Hold on. Valentine's Day.
Oh, game time.
Oh, no.
Overtime. 4 quarters.
Shots fired.
I go the night before. I asked my mom if I can go to. I think it was like a Walgreens or something. I need to go pick up a car for my girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
I broke up with her on Valentine's Day.
Damn.
Gave her a card. It's like, I want you to read this when you get a chance. She pulled up with all her girls. How you gonna break up my girl on Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
I said, you shouldn't have been with old boy at the movie. But at that time,
What'd she say?
junior year in high school, there's some choice words in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Get the, out my face. I regret, I still would have broken up with her. But the way I did it.
Oh, was that bad?
Was she a young lady or was she a broad?
Are we really doing it?
Because if she was a broad, you did it right.
Your Honor, I plead the fifth. but I would have still made the same decision, but I would have done it differently. Because of course Valentine's Day, then I gave her the card in front of her friends.
Did they drive off after she read the card, or she read it?
No. She was at her locker.
Okay.
They were at her locker.
Okay.
I was like, I just want to get this to you. You read this when you get a chance. And so she decided to read it in front of her friends. And she read what I wrote in there. And they had my life. How you gonna break up? Well, your girl shouldn't have been. Okay. Almost slipped out right there. Shouldn't have been doing whatever she was doing with whoever she was doing it with. Amen. But of course, yeah. So I would have handled it differently, and I learned that, and it still plays a role today. That if I need to address something, instead of putting somebody on blast, because I was very intentional about that thing. That wasn't a mistake.
It was to the soul. It wasn't to the heart. It was to the soul.
There was a level, and I know they say savage now.
You knew what savage was back then.
There was a level of savagery in me. It was like, okay, you do me, I got you. Don't even worry about it. Okay, don't. I got you. So I say that on a lighter note because of how we have to deal with people. And I'm grateful because I've had other situations, not from a personal, not romantic, but within the church where a bishop could have put me on blast. But instead, he was like, listen, Ferguson, this is how you need to do it. And I was like, let me take my notes. I got to learn from that. I got to do better. So that's on a lighter note. Russ talking about his uncle got me thinking about my grandmother. She had a stroke. 2016. In fact, my first year here in Eastern North Carolina, I was serving in Elizabethtown at the time. She had a stroke. Got there in December. She had a stroke in March. Got a chance to talk to her a few times. The right side of her body, pretty much, she couldn't use.
Yeah, that's tough.
But she was still talking, and she's one who reared me in the Word. I still watch Everybody Loves Raymond because of Pauline Ferguson, because that was our show with Frank and all of them.
Yeah.
But I regret. I was hesitant, and like I said, when you start talking about your uncle, it got me thinking about this thing. I should have gone home to see her, but I never got a chance to say what I wanted to say to her before she passed. My pastor allowed me to do her eulogy, but it's not the same. It's not the same as when somebody is still living and breathing, and I'm able to give her flowers. So that thing still eats at me. And it wasn't until you start talking about your uncle. I regret not just saying, listen, I'm going home. And so it's played a role in how I've dealt with my mother. When people say, A, B, and C is going on, you see her on FaceTime, you see her on Duo, but you're not seeing everything. Okay, I'm at home. Don't worry about it. No, you coming back. Okay, you don't want to come back. Come back for your grandbaby. Cool. You coming with me. However you coming with me.
Right.
Because I learning from that situation, I will not sit back and somebody else close to me like that goes down like that, and I'm not doing everything I can. Yeah, I'll leave it.
That took a lot, bro. That shit, that stuff hit me.
Russ started talking about his aunt.
It's difference, man.
I'm kind of similar with my great grandma. She died last year, and I had to leave early. All right, so obviously your great grandma, but I was the last person to be raised in Jamaica at her house, and she lived with us in America. So that was my dog. So when I get in trouble, my great grandma be like, nah, tell my mama chill, he good. I just be like, yes, not today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
In 4th grade. Yeah. She must say something in 4th grade call.
Hey, look.
She did. In 4th grade she did. So
she called. Oh, shoot. You said your mama didn't say nothing? Yeah, great grandmama called, bro.
Yeah. She was my dog, man. God rest her soul, Julia Brown.
When he say dog, ladies and gentlemen, that means that was his homie. That was
best friend.
I don't want nobody thinking we call female dogs, okay?
Yeah,
you got people out there that try to attack us. Just putting it on record.
Yes.
Yeah. That was man, listen, man. And like you said, I was in college, going back and forth. My mom, she always saw her every day. And she was like, Shannon, make sure you go see your great grandma. And I did. And I think the time that it hit me was one time, I think it's dementia, whatever it is.
Yeah. When she killed.
Yeah.
I already know what you're about to say.
Yeah. So I went to the nursing home because I couldn't take care of her. I was obviously here. And I walked up to her. And I was like, hey, mama, how you doing? Blah, blah. And then she was like, who are you? And are we back in Jamaica? I got to go home. And, I regret that. I definitely regret it. She couldn't remember it, and I think that scarred me. I was like, yeah, I can't go back. I didn't go back, actually. And I definitely regret that. I regret that to the soul to this day. And I should have went back and tried to make her remember. Obviously, she didn't enjoy her presence, and then she passed away last year, and I had to leave early to go, bury her or whatever the case may be. And it was COVID, so we couldn't even bury her. We had to cremate her, sadly. So yeah, I know. I understand. Yeah,
My stepfather, before he passed, could see in a year and a half, it went like this. My stepfather passed, then my uncle passed, then my grandmother passed.
Yeah, I want to be at work.
Yeah, it was just that's how it was. And my stepdad had dementia, and it's different to see, him healthy, you full, and then to see it go down, and then he having sometimes you hear him praying and he can't remember stuff that his words just running over, don't even know what he's saying, but he trying. It's different. It's different, bro.
It's different. And I was like, I can't, it mentally messed me up, and I wish I could go back and handle that. But she in a better place now. She was 92. So she lived a good life. I guess I was the last person raised in Jamaica well, so yeah, like you said, to see him at the good health and then slowly decline.
It mess with you, man.
Mess with your head. That's why I'm crazy.
Yeah. And so like the three of y'all, I have my own story. That stories that come to mind, right? I think for my closing thoughts though, it's part of, I believe, what Russ said, of how we allow those moments or circumstances as such to alter the way we choose to charter the journey forward. My situation with my grandfather, that's what instigated me making sure I tell my brothers, my sisters, I love y'all, right? My fraternity brothers, right? Because it happened while I was pledging, and I got the call. It just so happened my line brother only had one. He staying at my house when I got the call, and man, I remember him just hugging me. We didn't even say words, And so before I even officially crossed in the frat, that created that feeling of
that's your brother.
That's my brother, and I love you, and I need to be able to tell you I love you. There's really good friends. If I told them, I was yo, if I'm an hour away from you, I'm driving that hour to come see you. I had some friends that live in Texas and one that was moving to Washington, and we all just happened to be in D.C. I'm taking this Uber to come see you, because we in the same vicinity. So, I'm writing people letters. Now I'm telling. I'm coming by your office just to check in on you. So that's what I'm left with. So and there's no such thing as being perfect, but it's just seizing an opportunity to give that nudge and compliment or check in on somebody, let somebody know how you feel, because you just never know, right? You can't wait for the moment. Every moment's the moment, and that's also even when we talking about mistakes, right? It's just not beating myself up on what has happened in the past. It happened, and it happened for whatever reason, and it helped mold me into who I am today. And so that's just the advice I would give to anybody listening to our podcast. Take that time, be introspective, reflect on those quote unquote mistakes, and learn from them, and allow it to guide your steps moving forward.
My final thoughts is one false move could be your life. Life is all about making decisions. So before you make an impulsive decision, think about your options, because like I said, where I'm from, a lot of people made one stupid move. Just one stupid move. They was at the wrong place, wrong time. They could have been home playing video. You know what I'm saying? So one decision you make can alter your life. But it's always good to learn from your mistakes and overcome them, and don't make it twice, because you'll be a fool. Mr. Ross,
my final thought is, it's more so a question, man, since since we are talking to the students out here, it's more so a question because everybody think that when they get to college, they're grown. You know what I mean? So my question would be, and it's going to be a question, it's just a question to all three of y'all, and then I'll answer the question. And I want to pose it to all three of y'all individually. The question is, when does a man or a woman know that they are a man and a woman? Like when is the moment that you understand that you are a man, not a male, but a man, not a female, but a woman? What y'all think? And then I'll answer at the end. That's my final thought with this. When does a man or a woman know that they are a man or a woman?
I think.
Yeah, you got it.
I know mine's gonna probably be the most immature response because I'm the youngest. Because y'all some deep intellectual responders, but I think it varies on the person.
Okay, so when do you?
Hold on, because I'm gonna tell you why. Because I think sometimes for certain people, if you live in a struggle and overcome certain things, it helps you become a man. You know,
okay.
So some people struggle. Some people is holding themselves accountable and taking care of their business, meeting the bills, you know, the job, make sure your kids are straight if you have kids. In that situation, you know, paying bills is a man or a woman in that instance. So I think it varies from the person and the maturity level. Like, because at the end of the day, you could be grown, air quotation marks, and pay bills and all this stuff, but you're not a man or a woman.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
That.
Yeah, a couple of things come to mind. The first being that when I just wholeheartedly started accepting like responsibility, like responsibility can include a lot of those things. I mean, this past year alone has just been a story, and it was just things I had to figure out. Yes, my dad was there to give me advice. Yes, my mom was there to give me advice, siblings, mentors, and whatever. At the end of the day, I had to make the decisions. And the decisions I made, you know, had an impact. And I just had to be willing to accept responsibility for the decisions that I made, right? And I think even when I'm like 18 or when I was in college and I think I'm grown or whatever, or maturing to that point, I wasn't even taking time to be aware of how my decision impacts other things. I wasn't taking time to just visualize the full scope of or the full ripple effect of my actions and my decisions, yet alone taking responsibility for every component of it. That's in romantic relationships, that's in my academic work, that's in my friendships, that's in, you know, my responsiveness, so on, so on. So just that moment where you like obtaining or like you're willing to like embrace full responsibility. But I tell you, for me, one of the specific moments where I'm like, I'm an adult, I was 25. And I'm having a conversation with my dad about when he was 25. And at this point, he had me. And so I was his second child at 25 years old. I was like, I'm struggling. I'm struggling. I ain't got no kids. I'm 25 right now. I ain't got no kids. But in that moment, I took back to like reflect on my parents. And I was like, they had way more responsibility at the age of 25 than I had. And I still felt like I was struggling, trying to find my way, And so, long story short, it wasn't until 25 that I forgave my parents for a lot of mistakes that were made. And work to show them grace, which matured our relationship that much more. Mm-hmm. And I was able to sit down and have these conversations with my parents now. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things, or one kind of like indicators that, or I actually felt like I'm an adult. Mm-hmm. Circumstance didn't change the mindset that, and I began approaching things differently.
Well,
I'm gonna go light, and then I'm gonna. I agree with Derek and Tone. For me, it was when I moved from the kiddie table to the grown-up table. Nah.
When you come in the cookout on Thanksgiving or Christmas, come on, you ain't over there no more.
I'm gonna one up you when I start playing spades with the grown up.
There it is. We got the call.
Here it is. Let's go. You already know.
I start playing spades with grandma and them.
That's it. Look, when they
they call you too.
Come on, we got a seat for you right here. That's a lighter note, but I agree with Derek and Tone. Responsibility and accountability. When I could stand as a man and own my decisions, right or wrong.
Right or wrong.
Say, listen, this is a decision I'm making. Because I used to be a people pleaser,
right?
Mm-hmm. and be heavy in that thing. Could hardly operate without somebody co-signing. Mm-hmm. When I can stand on my own too and say, this is the decision I'm making. If I would talk to my mother about it or something, these are the reasons that I'm making this decision, whether she agreed with it or not. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna stick with it, and if I need to learn something from it, I'll learn from it. Mm-hmm. But again. You all said it, accountability and responsibility, and being able to make decisions, not just, I talk to some people and they have the horse blinders. Mm-hmm. They can just see this right here.
Straight.
But being able to put, okay, this decision that I'm about to make, let's put this in a bigger context. Mm-hmm. And so that responsibility and accountability, I agree wholeheartedly with that. But that called up though.
Yeah, that was different.
Where I can fix my own plate.
Oh yeah, you right.
So, all great points, man. All great points, and I mean that like for real. All great points. The reason why I said that was because my nephew and I was talking. My nephew's 19, which pretty much I think everybody had met my nephew. Yeah. So, he was reading the scripture. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. Mm-hmm. I thought as a child when I became a man. So I asked him, I said, when does a man know that he's a man? And he was talking about, when you start making money, when you start paying bills. I said, it's deeper than that. And so all of y'all points is real good. And since we are really dealing with the college students, male and female, it hit different when I told him a man know that he a man and a woman knows she's a woman when they realize that their life influences somebody else.
Ooh.
That's when you know you're a man.
Okay, right.
Because when, if we talking about script, when you was a child, we really don't have to think.
Right. Yeah, we just do our own thing.
We do our thing. Middle school, you still ain't got to think. And RA, and you taking care of your position out here. You and Mrs., you taking care of your position out here. Rail's chaplain, he taking care of his position. I'm in Student Success Center, academic council, taking care of mine. All of us have encountered the same students, not understanding that your life impacts somebody else. And once a man realizes like, yo, I make this, you can have 10 babies. That don't make you a man.
Nope.
You could be 60 years old and act like a 10-year-old. Mm-hmm. So age don't make you a man. You can make all the money in the world.
Don't make you a man.
And that don't make you a man because you still got arrogance out there in the world. But when the young males on this campus and the young females on this campus understand that their lives impact somebody around them, the division out here, those without friends, you wonder why you don't have, because you don't understand how your life and your actions are impacting those around you. Yeah. So that's the only thing, and that was my final thought, because since we're thinking about they go home and during this time and it's Christmas time, you know what I'm saying? We're not thinking about how the life of Jesus the Christ influenced us. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, those of you young ladies and men out here who think I'm a man cause you got tattoos, ain't nothing wrong with tattoos. It's beautiful. Ain't nothing wrong with how somebody dressed. We ain't talking about that. But let your focus be on how your life impacts those around you. And once you stop and think about that, you will begin to, as you said, these areas that we all have touched on, and these areas that we all had to grow up on, the 4 men that's in this room, you'll understand, like, the stuff that you really think was hard to stop doing, it ain't really hard. Right. Once you think about how to influence somebody else, it's not really that hard. You know what I'm saying? You talked about academics. Your story is real, is even more so relevant. And a lot of these students who come out here 2 years in a row, academic probation, warning, and all this other stuff, and then you $40,000, $50,000 in debt, but then you want to blame it on the professor, you want to blame it on this college, they ain't got nothing. Or you looking at your actions. So a man and a woman knows they're a man and a woman when they realize that their actions influence those around them. That's my final thought.
I'm going to say mic drop.
Yeah. All right, Red, leave us in prayer, man. Take us out of here, man.
Yes, sir. God, once again, I believe that you've been glorified in this session on today. I thank you, oh God, for my brothers. I thank you, oh God, for our journeys, our individual journeys, oh God, the highs and the lows. The times, oh God, that we felt confident that we would make it, and other times that we didn't know if we would make it. Yes. God, we are grateful for you. Thank you, God, for allowing us to share with the students. Thank you for allowing us to share with one another. And now, God, as we prepare to depart from this place, be with us, watch over us. God, as we go to Christmas break, please keep us safe. Lord, be with all who are traveling, oh God, and keep us all safe. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Like I said, thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you guys on the next one.
Hey, tell somebody to tune in and brush your teeth when you wake up.
Mic drop.
This episode is sponsored by North Carolina Wesleyan College. North Carolina Wesleyan College is a dynamic, student-centered, 4-year private college that believes in the value of a liberal arts education. Wesleyan offers undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs preparing students for professional advancement, lifelong learning, and responsible participation in their communities. If you're interested in furthering your education, please visit us at ncwc.edu. Go Bishops!